guys, last chance to get your little your FanFi review video, last chance to see me solve them, last chance to maybe practice some of these strategies that you've seen the past couple of days in these videos. Either way, if you're watching right now, that means you have finished Thursday's Fantastic Five, and you are watching this to help you prepare for the only day that matters, which is your quiz tomorrow. I would assume that if you've been watching these videos each day, you've watched your score go up or at least maintain and not go backwards, which is a positive. But maybe there's something that you'll see today, or just something. What am I even trying to say? I'm glad you're watching this. Thank you. You start filming all these videos, you feel like you say the same thing over and over and over again, which I pretty much am. All right, so we're going to get right into it. Starting with number one. It says the perimeter of the shape below is 48 inches. It's 16 inches long. It wants to know how wide it is. So again, hopefully you guys are redrawing that shape or drawing that shape on your paper and just labeling it with all the information that it's given you and putting that P equals, that perimeter equals 48 inches. Again, the perimeter measures the distance around the outside of the shape. So from them telling us that it's 16 inches long, realistically, it's given us two sides, because if I know the top is 16, opposite sides are equal, then the bottom will be 16 as well. So if I'm trying to figure out how wide this shape is, I'm going to take my total perimeter, which is 48, and I'm going to take away what I already have. That way I can see what's left. So I got to figure out what I already have. I know it's 16 inches long, so two of those sides are 16 inches. I would add those together. 6 plus 6 gives me 12. 2 stays, 1 goes. And then 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. That gives me 32 inches. So my total perimeter is 48. I got to get rid of 32 inches to see what's left. So that I shall do. Let's get rid of those 32 inches. 8 minus 2 is 6. 4 minus 3 is 1. So if somebody got 16 inches here and they chose D, I know for a fact that that person did not check their work. And really, guys, if you got 16 inches long, 16 inches wide, that wouldn't be a rectangle, that would be a square. Once you get to this point, you got to say, okay, I've got 16 inches left, and I've got to split those 16 inches between two sides. So if I'm splitting those 16 inches evenly between those two sides, that answer would really be 8, which is B. And the way you can check to make sure you're right is you can take that 8 and you can plug it in. You can go 16 plus 16, you get 32. You could go 8 plus 8, you get 16. Add those together, and that would give you your perimeter of 48. So no excuses on that one. If you do the work, or if you take the time to do the math, plug in your answer choices, you'll get that one right every single time. All right, moving on to number 2. Again, multiplicative comparison problem. It might be different than the past couple of days. You got to look for those keywords. It says Taylor Swift sold some CDs. Beyonce sold 11 times as many CDs as Taylor. Together, they sold 72 CDs. How many CDs did Taylor sell? So I saw 11 times as many. Multiplicative comparison, I'm comparing Beyonce to Taylor Swift. There really is no comparison. Beyonce, like, way better. And then I'm going to draw my picture. And based off of times as many, it says Beyonce sold 11 times as many. So Beyonce gets a whole lot of boxes. She'll have 11. Again, those are supposed to be even. I did that as best I can, which means Taylor automatically gets 1. And the other piece of information that it gave us was 72 CDs. And that 72 CDs represents both of them because it says together. When you see that together, we're going to put that bracket. We're going to put equal to 72. And now we're going to take those 72 CDs and split it between both of them. Now, we've got a total of 12 boxes over there. This is where you got to really know your facts, and we've said it during King and Queen of Multiplication. The 12s really give us a hard time. If you don't know this, list your multiples. 12 times 1 is 1, or 12. 12 times 2, 24. 12. List them if you have to, but if you know your facts, you would know that 72 divided by 12 would give you 6, which means you'll put 6 in every box. I'm just going to not do it there. And then 6 would go into Taylor's box. Now, the only reason I put it into Taylor's box is, 1, I didn't have enough room for the top picture, but 2, that's where my star would go. It says, how many CDs did Taylor sell? All you'd have to do is look at her picture, and that answer would be A. So you've seen me do it over and over. A few weeks worth of multiplicative comparisons, guys, using that bar model, that box method. You're going to have a test on those tomorrow. And I think if you just use that model and use the information that it gives you, you're giving yourself a really good chance to get that one correct. All right, number 3, it says, the book I checked out from the library has 9,000 pages. Holy cow. If I read 3,183 pages the first month and 2,482 pages the next month, how many pages remain? So again, I'm reading them, I'm getting them, I'm knocking them off the list. Remain would be another word that would lead me to subtraction. I'll solve this one like I did on Tuesday. I'll take them away one at a time. Here's my 9,000. I'm going to go ahead and read that first month, 3,183 pages. Starting in the ones place, can't do 0 minus 3, more on the floor, go next door, get 10 more, but obviously you see nobody's home there. So when you go to that empty house, you're going to box it off with the rest of the neighborhood. And I went from having 0 10s to now having 900 of them, but I only need 1. So that 900 is going to change to 899. And that 10 that I took, I'll add to that 0, and that 0 changes to a 10. Now I can subtract. I can do 10 minus 3. I'd get 7. I can do 9 minus 8 and get 1. 9 minus 1 and get 8. And then 8 minus 3 and get 5. Now I'm not finished because that's just the first month. But then I would go ahead and I would read the next month, 2,482 pages. So again, I would subtract here, starting at the ones place, 7 minus 2, that would give me 5. Tens place, 1 minus 8, can't do that, more on the floor, go next door. This 8 is now a 7, change that 1 to an 11. I can do 11 minus 8 and get 3. I can do 7 minus 4 and get 3. I can also do 5 minus 2 and get 3. That would give me my answer of 3,335 pages, which would be C. You could also take those two numbers, add them up, subtract just one time. It's whatever you're more comfortable doing. As long as when you're subtracting across those zeros, you're doing that regrouping correctly. It's a little bit different than our normal subtraction. All right, number 4. Once again, we've got what fraction of this circle is shaded. You should be able to get that fraction looking at what it gives you. Denominator comes from your total number of sections that it's split into, and this circle is cut into sixths. And if it wants to know what is shaded, you just got to count how many of those sections are shaded. In this case, it would be 2. At this point, you already know if you don't see your fraction, one of those answer choices will be equivalent. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. You just got to look at your answer choices and find one that represents the same amount. And we know we do that by cross multiplying. So if I plug in answer choice A, which is 1/4, and I cross multiply those, I can clearly see that those are not equivalent. I've got different numbers there. All right, if I plug in B, 1/3, 6 times 1 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6. So even though they look different, they are equivalent. They represent the same amount, which would be B. We'll still check C and D because that's just what we do. EOG effort. Put that 4, put that 6. You should be able to look at the denominators and instantly know, but we'll check it anyway. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2 is 12. Definitely not equivalent. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and try D, 2/4. 6 times 2 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8. So that proves that we were correct with B, 1/3 being equivalent to 2/6 as our answer. Hopefully we're rocking and rolling on that one. That's another example of multiplication, making things a lot easier for us. Last but not least, number 5, this is the effort question of the week. If you do the work, there's a huge 99% chance probably you'll get it right. All you got to do is do the work. If you're talking hundreds, add 2 zeros. If you're talking tens, add 1 zero. We're going to get to a point where eventually we're going to be adding ones in there. A 1 doesn't have a 0. You wouldn't add anything to it. So we're looking for 6,870. Again, people are going to choose A because they see 6870 in order. You still got to do the work. So if I have 6,800s, here's 68 plus 2 zeros. 70 tens, I'm going to write down 70 and add 1 0. Add those together, and I see that that is too much. That would not be my answer. That's equal to 7,500. So then I would try B, 6,800s. Again, write the number 68, and I would add 2 zeros. 7 tens, write the number 7, add 1 0. Add those together. B gives me exactly what I'm looking for, 6,870. Now, I'm still going to check C, still going to check D. C says 600s. I'll put a 6, add 2 zeros. 87 tens. I put an 87 and add 1 0. Add those together. That comes up pretty short. That would not be what I'm looking for. Last but not least, we've got D, 5,400s. Means I take 54 and add 2 zeros. 67 tens, 67 add 1 0. Add those together, and that comes up short as well, which will give me the answer choice of B. All you got to do is add those zeros and do a little bit of addition there, and you can eliminate or find your answer. So quiz tomorrow, it's not a bad idea before you do the quiz tomorrow to maybe go back and rewatch videos from the past few days. That's completely up to you. I mean, it's kind of hard with people being at home, but when the people are in class, the Fan 5 numbers on Friday haven't quite been what I would expect them to be. We would obviously expect all of them to be the highest that they've been all week, which hasn't always been the case. So make sure you're taking your time, doing your work. And if you send me a picture of your work for your quiz tomorrow, I got some tickets for you. All right, good luck, guys.